Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are going to break down the exact step-by-step blueprint for filing a Texas DBA. If you've been searching for a way to rebrand, or maybe you're looking to launch a brand new product line, you already know there is just so much confusing legal fluff out there. Well, we're going to completely bypass all of that today. Get ready for a highly structured, straightforward walkthrough of the exact source material you need to confidently secure your new business name in the Lone Star State without any of the headache. Let's get into it. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We've got 6 really focused sections on the agenda. Number 1, the Texas assumed name. 2, DBA versus LLC. 3, pre-filing preparation. 4, the filing process. 5, post-filing action items. And finally, number 6, avoiding common mistakes.
Starting right off with Section 1, the Texas assumed name, understanding the foundation.
So, before we even think about filling out a single piece of paperwork, we have to strip away the jargon. The absolute most crucial point here is that in Texas, a DBA, or a doing business as, is officially called an assumed name. You are going to see this specific term everywhere on the state documents. Now, what does it actually do? It allows you to operate your business under a totally different name than your formal legal business name. But listen closely, because this is where people get tripped up. It absolutely does not create a new business entity, and it does not provide liability protection. Think of it essentially as a branding mask. You are simply putting a fresh, highly recognizable face on your already existing business structure. And this right here brilliantly illustrates exactly how that mask works in practice. So, on paper, for all your legal and tax purposes, your business might be officially registered as Prime Digital Solutions, LLC. But let's be honest, maybe that sounds just a little too corporate for the local market you actually want to target. By filing an assumed name, you can operate openly as Texas Web Services. You are operating the exact same LLC on the back end, but your customers? They only ever interact with your sleek, highly targeted, customer-facing DBA name. It's a total game changer for your marketing. Which brings us nicely to Section 2, DBA versus LLC, the crossroads. Now, it's absolutely vital to clarify what a DBA doesn't do before we start drafting your paperwork, because this is a crossroads where so many business owners get confused. When we compare the two side by side, the most critical distinction lies in liability protection. An LLC is a fully separate legal entity that gives you a shield of liability protection. A DBA? None of those things. It is literally just an alias. And because it's just an alias, the formation complexity for a DBA is significantly lower than forming an entirely new LLC. This is your reality check right here. To ensure you understand that you aren't getting a corporate shield with a simple assumed name, you are just getting unmatched marketing flexibility. All right, now that we have that foundation laid, welcome to Section 3, pre-filing preparation. This is phase 1 of our actual blueprint. Every successful filing always starts with solid prep work. First up, you'll need to brainstorm a memorable and professional DBA name that actually follows Texas naming rules and differs from your legal name. Think Lone Star Marketing instead of your LLC's name. Once you have a great idea, you absolutely must verify its availability. You have to search the Texas business records to avoid legal conflicts down the road. After locking in a totally unique name, your final prep task is determining exactly where this application needs to go. And where you file entirely depends on your current legal structure. It's like a fork in the road. If you're operating as a sole proprietor or a general partnership, you will usually be filing your paperwork locally, directly with your county clerk. However, if your business is an LLC, a corporation, or a limited partnership, you step right up to the state level. You will generally be filing Form 503 directly with the Texas Secretary of State. I can't stress this enough. Getting this specific detail right is literally half the battle. Let's see how all this preparation builds into Section 4, the filing process. Blueprint Phase 2. Okay, here is where we actually make it official. You'll start by filling out the assumed name certificate with your core business details. We're talking things like your legal business name, the new DBA name, your entity type, and exactly how long you plan to use it. With that form totally complete, Texas actually gives you some really great options for submission. You can upload it via the SOS Direct system, mail it in, drop it off in person, or, believe it or not, even fax it. Then simply pay the required fee to the state.
And speaking of fees, get a load of this number, $25. That is the remarkably low cost for filing Form 503 with the Texas Secretary of State. I mean, come on, that is an incredible bargain for unlocking an entirely new brand identity. Now, keep in mind, if you are a sole proprietor filing locally with a county clerk, those fees will vary depending on your specific county, but across the board, it is generally quite affordable. All right, paperwork is in. Next up is Section 5, Post-Filing Action Items, Phase 3 of our blueprint. So, just because you hit submit doesn't mean the job is entirely done. Once the state actually processes your application, you'll receive a filed or stamped copy of your assumed name certificate. That is your official green light, and that is exactly when the fun begins. You can start plastering your new DBA on your business cards, your website, your advertisements, all your customer-facing materials. But amidst all that excitement, please don't forget the administrative housekeeping. You must formally update your bank accounts, your vendor profiles, and your business licenses to reflect this brand new identity. Which brings us to our final section, avoiding common mistakes. Think of this as the safeguards necessary to keep your shiny new business identity completely compliant. I really want to rapid fire through these pitfalls because, trust me, they trip up so many folks. Sending paperwork to the wrong office or accidentally entering the wrong entity type on the forms, that is going to earn you a fast, frustrating rejection from the bureaucracy. For all my sole proprietors out there, do not forget your county filing requirements. You also really need to stay on top of renewal deadlines. But above all else, never, ever fall into the trap of assuming this DBA grants you a corporate shield. Remember, it is a marketing tool, not a legal fortress. And regarding those renewal deadlines we just mentioned, a Texas assumed name certificate is generally valid for up to 10 years. 10 years, so mark your calendars. To continue using the DBA after that decade expires, a completely new filing is required. Failing to file a new one upon expiration is a major, major mistake that could put all the brand equity you've built up at serious risk. Don't let that happen to you. Well, we have covered the rules, the costs, the common pitfalls, and the exact step-by-step blueprint to getting your Texas assumed name. You now have all the source material translated into a completely actionable plan. So I'm going to leave you with this. What will your new Texas assumed name be, and are you prepared to start the filing process today? Get brainstorming, grab that Form 503, and start building your next great brand. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.